Happy Wednesday. I'm sitting out here in my car and I wanted to share with you the part two to the castle, the mountain, and the sacrifices because there was some weird, crazy things that went on. Basically, when we went back out there, we wanted to just kind of build a fire and just kind of hang out and maybe do a little seance and see if there was anything that we could conjure up or, see if there was any spirits that wanted to talk to us. So we decided to go around and start collecting firewood, and some of us just went different directions. And the direction I went was in the direction of that basement area because I wanted to get down there and I wanted to see if, anything was different or if that blood and if that animal carcass was still there. So we went down there, and when we got down to that area, everything was cleaned up. There was no pentacle on the ground. There was no carcass animal. The only thing that was left was some candles. Candles, the same candles that had been burned. And it seems like there was like a candle that was like over to the right of the table, tumped over. That was pretty freaky. And so, here's the next freaky part. As we were leaving from that basement area, and we were walking back towards the house after we had collected a few pieces of firewood. Excuse me, I got a little cough. Smoke's getting in my face because I got a cigarette because I'm on my break. But as we got down there, as we started walking back, and we passed by that old tree and everything, the noose wasn't even there. I mean, that was really freaky. So we're like, okay, someone's definitely been out here. We start walking and we start hearing voices. It sounded like a bunch of like laughter and like male voices talking. And as we continued to approach forward, we ended up noticing this group of people. It was like 3 dudes and this girl. And we were like, oh, what are we going to do? So we walked up to them and we were like, hey, how you doing? And they were just like, cool. They were like talking to us, like, hey, what's up? And saying, we're just out here. We like to come out here and party and hang out and all this stuff like that. And so we got to talking, and they said they knew a story that had happened there. That's kind of like a legend. And I'm going to share that legend with you right now. I don't know if you saw that, but it's really windy, and that ash just blew right back on me. Okay, so anyway, basically, the legend was, there was that castle house. Basically, what happened was there was a family that lived there. 2 twin, boy and girl, and a dad and a mom. And they were just out walking around one day, checking out the area. I think they said that they were collecting berries or something like that in the forest. So, as they were doing that, trying to think of this story here. Okay, yeah, as they were out collecting berries, they started to hear someone, talking to them, yelling out for help. Like, somebody help me, somebody help me. And so they started walking towards the voice, and where they were walking towards to hear the voice was that tree. And there was a man standing there, and he's like, please help me, and he was pointing up. And as the kids looked up, they didn't see anything, and when they looked back to look at the man, he was gone. He wasn't there anymore. So they run home, and they tell their mom what they had seen, and the mom's, just shrugged it off, thought they were just making up a story, and just left it be. The next day, they went back out to play, and they were like, let's go out there and look at that tree again. I want to see if anyone's there. Okay, so they went back to that tree, and when they went to the tree, they saw that noose hanging, and they freaked out, and they started screaming, and they run back home, and they tell their mom, and she's like, I'm sick of y'all's nonsense, I'm sick of y'all making up stories, I'm going to come out there with you. So basically, the mom just followed them out there to that tree, and they didn't see anything in that tree. There was no noose hanging, there was nobody there. So she started to get a little angry with the children and told them, you're not going to be able to come back out here to this tree. And they went home. Now, this is freaky. This is the really freaky part of the story. That night, they were laying in bed, getting ready to go to sleep, and they heard this tap on their window, and they looked, and supposedly they saw that man, a ghostly man, and he was motioning for them to come help. So they were like, okay, let's go help this man. And I think the kids were around 11 or 12 years old, so they wasn't super young, but they wasn't like a teenager or anything yet. So they're like, okay, yeah, we'll help you. And this is freaky, okay? So what they did was they decided they wanted to write their mom a note because they didn't want to wake her up and they were going to sneak out. So they wrote the note to their mom stating that they were going to help this man. He really needs their help, and that, they'll be back soon. They wanted to leave this note just in case they didn't come back till the morning, because I think, as the legend goes and as the story was told, I think it was around like 3 a.m. So they didn't know what time they were going to come back. But anyway, they came back like, well, I don't know what time. Anyway, I didn't mean to say that part. Okay, so they left after they wrote the note. They left with the man, and we don't know what happened after that, because the next morning when the mom woke up, she went in there and she found their letter, and she read that letter, and she was looking for her children. She couldn't find them. She looked for them everywhere. She couldn't find them. They searched those woods day and night, supposedly for years. The children never popped up. They never found them. And then eventually the mom died, and so I think it was just some unknown causes, maybe stress from never being able to find her children. And so the legend is that those two that boy and that girl, and their mother, haunt that mountain in that area. There's some other stories that they had told us, and I may get to that in another video. But that's a pretty freaky story. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. That's just the way the legend goes. But actually, I will say this: I do believe that those spirits do exist there. If that's the particular story that goes with it, I'm not 100% sure, but we have, and I will share with you some of the experiences that we had with this twin boy and girl and mom, because it gets kind of intense when we go back out there, because we decided to take the Ouija board, of course, back then, and that'll be the next video that I make for this series. So yeah, I hope you could hear me, because I know I'm kind of talking quiet. But I really wanted to share that with you guys. So just post a comment below. Let me know what you think. And I'll be back soon to share with you the rest of the story. And I hope you guys have a great week. It's almost the weekend. Yes, and Halloween is so close. I can't wait. And I also have to make a video sharing some more of the paranormal activity that's going on in my home, because there is quite a bit of more things that's happening. And it's pretty exciting. So I'll see you guys later. Peace out.